Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS. Fans, brews, and Broncos news. Hey, what's going on, Broncos country? Welcome to another edition of Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS. My name is KevDan. You probably know that already. And this is Adam. Adam's here with me. You probably know that already as well. But either way, we are here with you tonight on this fabulous Tuesday night to talk about the Broncos and everything that's going on within Broncos country, all the news, no clickbait, no BS, which is why it's in our title, and to have some fun with you guys. Adam, before I hand it over to you, man, everybody who's tuning in right now, big announcement from us. Our annual fan appreciation episode will be next Tuesday, a week from now, Tuesday, February 17th at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. If you guys have seen it before, you know exactly what it's all about. If you haven't, this is a chance for you guys to come on over, hang out with us as we give away a ton of Broncos prizes with a Broncos jersey of your choice as the grand prize. You're going to have to tune in to find out how to win all these prizes, to include the grand prize at the end of the show. But ultimately, it's just one last hurrah for the season. It's our 10th season. I'm unfortunately going to have to retire the little 10th anniversary sign here soon and go back to our normal one. But before you know it, Adam, in too long, we'll be having a 20th anniversary sign in just 10 short years. But dude, how you doing tonight, man?
You know what? I'm getting over a little bit of a cold. I don't know if this was my godsmack for going to the AFC Championship game, but yeah, I got me some tea with some honey. That's always the old man recipe for clearing up some of the that you get in the back of your throat. But I'm always chomping at the bit to talk Broncos football. I could talk Broncos football all day, every day. So yeah, I'm pumped to start talking about, you know what? It's the off season, and this probably is going to be one of the more important off seasons that we have going into next year.
100% agreed. And I'm just going to say it over and over again because I'm going to speak it into existence. The Broncos will be in Super Bowl 61. And I believe in a big part of that is because of the success they're going to find in this offseason. We've seen them hit in the draft multiple times over the last several years. I think free agency now with no dead cap space hurting us. Goodbye, Russell Wilson, for good. We're going to be able to make some moves, man. But before we get into all that, so first off, guys, post your questions and comments. Glad to see all you guys here tonight. James, Roy, David, Mike, you guys are fantastic. Post your comments, questions. Gus, how you doing, man? Where are we going next year? Gus, you and I are on the same page. We're going to Super Bowl 61, where we're going to win Super Bowl 61 in the LA Chargers Stadium. It's going to be fantastic. But let's take a quick rewind to this last weekend, Super Bowl 60. Talk me through this really quickly, what you saw, some of your reactions to that game, and maybe how it ties into the Broncos and what the Broncos saw from that, and how they're going to take that forward with them as well.
So I was thinking about this in the car today, and you know, there's been some people out there who have made, you know what, Chris Carter is one of those guys where he's come out on record and said he believes the 1998 Broncos are wearing his Super Bowl ring. And while I don't like Chris Carter very much, it made me kind of sympathize with him just a little bit because let's face it, if you don't think that the Broncos would have had a better show of themselves in that game versus Drake May and the punter, whoever he may be for New England, because that's who got most of the workout on Sunday. And if you think for 1 second that Bo Nix would have let himself be a statue back there and just have the Seattle Seahawks teeing off on him, then you are sorely mistaken, and you have never seen Bo Nix play in an NFL game. To say that if we had Bo, I mean, I don't even think it's really up for debate now. If we would have had Bo for the AFC Championship game, it would have gone a lot differently, even before the elements settled into the game. But I mean, there are legitimately smart talking head type folks who said that the MVP award is not legitimate because they didn't give it to Drake May. I would counter with watch the postseason. That's why they didn't give it to Drake May, because he was god awful the wild card round to Super Bowl. God awful. Um, Sam Darnold, hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, Sam Darnold. Let's not take a victory lap with Sam Darnold either, because if there is something that has been bore out, is that if you have a great defense and a game manager type of quarterback, you can win a Super Bowl. And guess what? Sam Darnold is another prime example of that, as he joins the monumental list of Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson and Jeff Hostetler. He can go join all those other guys who, frankly, got to ride the coattails of the great team that really did win the Super Bowl, and not so much them.
Yeah. Well, I think as who put it out here? I just saw it. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have saved the comment here. Oh, Roy. Yeah, look, without our running game, if we had Stiddy still, we would have gotten our pants beat off us, right? I can fully agree with that statement. There's no question about it. Seattle definitely showed up to play, as you would expect for the Super Bowl, right? So in some ways, I'm glad we were saved that embarrassment. Truthfully, as much as it sucked to not, I would have loved to have our team be there, but for the Broncos, the whole point is to not just get to the Super Bowl, but to win the damn game. So I take one of my big takeaways from this was I think we could have beat Seattle. It would have been incredibly close. We would have needed a lot of things to go our way, but we would have put up a whole hell of a lot better fight than what the Patriots did. But the fact that we lost the AFC Championship game, I think it really, one, is lighting a fire within the team. I think it really is motivating them to get back to that position to show that, hey, see that if we did have Bo, we would have stomped whoever was here. Yeah, and it also really exposed, like what Roy's talking about, our running game. It really exposed our offense in general with the drops. Look, Lil Jordan Humphrey shouldn't have a place on this team next year, not because for no other reason other than we should have much better talent in the wide receiver room next year to where he's not even in consideration, right? I appreciate what he did coming over to the team, stepping up when we needed some depth after some injuries and everything. But you get Pat Bryant back, you get him healthy, and knock on wood, no more, injuries like he had at the end of the season. You get maybe another couple pieces, one through free agency, one through the draft, and you really, really focus on the offense. We've done so much over the last couple of years in building up the defense. That's good. Like, look, we're going to have to get some pieces. We're going to lose JFM. We're going to lose probably Alex Singleton. So you need to tweak that. But the offense really needs a major overhaul, and you get us back to that position next year, dude. Like this is going to be a team that is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for anybody that faces the Broncos.
And I think that's actually a really good segue into maybe some free agency targets that Denver may be looking at, especially when it comes to the running back room. James, I don't know that and I am probably in the minority here. I don't know that you want to throw premium coin at a running back. And I say it for a couple of reasons. One, it's a devalued position as far as running back by committees are used now, and with the amount of money that it takes to actually get a guy like a Kenneth Walker or a Breece Hall. Not saying that those guys aren't great players. They are great players. But you can get a similar type of player for a fraction of that cost, and you don't have to do that on the first day of free agency. If you're winning the first day of free agency, you're probably not going anywhere that regular season. It's just because when you don't draft well, you have to overpay for that in free agency. And so that's not always a route that I like to go. I think if you're going into the secondary market, there's a guy out in Atlanta, Tyler Algier, who was a 1,000 yard rusher not that long ago before Bijan Robinson was down there now. He's also very good at catching the ball out of the backfield, something that I know Sean Payton really likes out of his backs, is to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield. I mean, we saw that with RJ Harvey. I think Algier could be that kind of receiving weapon as well. And you do not have to pay premium dollars for that. Now was the time when Bo was in his rookie deal. Now is the time to be very, very savvy with your free agency dollars and not just throwing them out there because we have money to spend. I really feel like what gets you into trouble is feeling like you need to dole out big money when you have the money to spend. And again, we have the penners, which is nice having Walmart money as funding your free agency shopping spree. But I just think that there's guys that you can get out there that can still be a plus to this team that aren't necessarily going to command a ton of money. But Kev, we talked about this the other day. What do you think as far as the running back situation is? Maybe is that where you would like to see Denver spend some of that free agency dollars?
Yeah, but we got to be smart about it, right? And Breece Hall is going to command a very large salary. But you look at how Sean Payton, and even though Sean Payton is not looking to be calling the plays anymore, it's still going to be his system that Davis Webb is going to be calling the plays from. And the way we utilize the wide receivers is not going to change in my expectation. And so you need somebody that can both run the ball, but catch the ball out of the backfield as well, like we talked about, which is something that we have seen from our running backs since last year, right? We're not going to have 1,000-yard rusher just based off the way the system is run. And also the fact that we like to cycle out our running backs as well. So you're just not going to get a 1,000-yard rusher, but you could get 1,000-yard combined rushing and receiving.
Absolutely.
Right? And so that's where I think going to that secondary market might be better. And look, I'm not giving up on J.K. Dobbins if he's willing to come back for a lower salary, just based off, hey, look, here's the fact of the matter. When you're out there on the field, big impact for the team. But when we lost you, big negative impact for the team. And dude, I don't know if you guys realize this, since 2021, he has played one full season. 2 of the seasons from the last 4 or 5 years, he's missed the entire season. So the fact we got half of him this season, we got him for half the season, that was actually pretty damn good for him, right?
Right.
So I just gotta expect that there's a 50-50 chance that he either is here for the whole season or as much as missing the whole damn season. So if he's willing to come back on a very discounted price, recognizing that, hey, man, maybe a ton of incentives in there for if you do stay healthy, right? But then you can go to the secondary market, not spend premium top money, and get somebody like what you were talking about there that can still come in and have an impact. That way, and I hate to say it, but if/when J.K. Dobbins goes down, we're not totally screwed at the same time. And RJ Harvey is just not there yet. I'm not ready to hand him the keys, even as a secondary, as a number 2 running back. So he needs a lot of time and development yet still, but I think, he has to prove it this next year. But I also don't want to draft another running back because that'd be 3 drafted running backs 3 years in a row, right? And so I want to keep with what we have, but improve with what we have at the same time. It's a balance, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they approach this running back room, because I think there's a lot of different options, and no matter what you do, you're going to piss people off. There's going to be a whole section of Broncos country saying that was the worst idea. I wouldn't have done it that way, yada, yada, yada. So we're just going to have to wait and see how it plays out, man.
Why are you describing what I'm like in my living room on the first day of free agency? I don't appreciate
because
that.
It's me too. It's me too.
Do you have a camera in my house? Do you have?
No, I'm just going off of my lived experience.
Mike, we're gonna get to some of those comments because I do think that we should talk about some of the other free agents that are out there. But with the running back, I think specifically in that position group, I think we saw from RJ Harvey that he really is that kind of all-purpose back that is there. You saw that how good of a receiver he is at coming out of the backfield. I do think he's still developing as a runner, but he is your best home run threat too. I mean, the run versus Jacksonville, where he broke a tackle and took it to the house. He's had a couple really, he had a huge catch and run in the divisional game. I think he's pretty much cemented his role as the all-purpose guy. If there is a guy that I would like to see is a first and second down guy who has some durability to him. And when they had Dobbins in there, he filled that role to a T. He was your first and second down hammer that you could plug in there and make the kind of constrict the offense a little bit and make it more of a 3-down offense. When he went down, that completely went out the window, and you saw Sean really putting a lot on Bo Nix's plate as having to make him throw 45 times. I personally don't like having to throw the ball 45 times, and in the elements where we saw in the AFC title game, we were not constructed to play that style of game and to put the ball up 45 times. Forget that we didn't have Bo Nix doing it, but that just was a slog watching the Denver offense try to get anything going on the ground with that. So I know that there may be some. It is kind of an interesting situation that the Broncos are in because, yeah, maybe you don't want to draft another guy, but at the same time, do you really want to, pay premium dollars for a guy who's not gonna be a 3-down guy, who's gonna be a 2, or who's gonna have to be a 2-down guy because of how much you like RJ Harvey? So for me, I would rather go the draft route because then you're still controlling costs. And I mean, in a couple of years, you're gonna have to pay some guy. He's kind of important. We just saw that this last season. And he plays a position that is pretty important, and those guys get paid a lot of money. So where you want to be going with that, I think, is you want to not necessarily go cheap, but you want to control your costs where you can, and you can't do that with running backs. Kind of going to the rest of the free agency pool, how are we feeling about John Franklin Myers? Because when the new contracts were getting doled out, he was very conspicuous in the fact that he did not get a deal. And for as much as he has said that he would like a new deal, he would like to stay, Zach Allen has been talking to anybody who would listen that he wants JFM to come back. It doesn't sound like it's super in the plans right now. So, and I know they've talked about it on other episodes, but Kev, do you think JFM gets brought back? And if so, why do you think is the reason he doesn't get brought back?
I think I heard them talking on the fan. It sounds like rumor mill, right? Take this for what it is, not confirmed or anything, but looks like he's looking for something along the lines of a 3-year, $45 million deal. And that's just not something that we're willing to. Now, that's something he deserves, right? And somebody out there is going to pay him that. But it shouldn't be us. We drafted Savion Jones and 𝐁𝐫𝐶𝐸 that guy.
𝐁𝐫𝐶𝐸. Yes.
𝐁𝐫𝐶𝐸.
I know who you're talking.
Whatever. Now, with him, you got to remember, and I kind of forgot about this till somebody mentioned it. He missed an entire season because of that gambling issue. So he was back out there last year, and we saw some good things from him. But we've also seen some good things from Savion Jones. So I think for the Broncos, the mindset was using JFM as a stopgap, right? Yeah. Using him as a placeholder for these other guys to get experience and to get ready. And what we've seen from Savion Jones, what we've seen from 𝐁𝐫𝐶𝐸 is that they can bring some really good things to the table, right? So I think if we're a team that's committed to growing through the draft and we're spending this draft capital on these players, it's time we say, dude, if that's what you want, we recognize that's what you're worth. You're going to go find it. we just can't afford that right now, right? We can't break the bank for one guy, and our defense is strong enough otherwise to where if we lose him, it's going to take a hit, but we have other players to also backfill him. And if Savion Jones halfway through the season, because I think he's going to be the one that gets the start. If halfway through the season he's just not the guy, maybe we put Rodriguez out there and say, hey, you give it a crack, right? But we have two options there, much more player friendly, where we can then divert some of those funds that would go to JFM towards the offense, which needs a whole lot more help. Look, if you get the offense to a top. Look, we were a top 10 barely offense. If you look at like this, but there's stats and then there's how they play on the field. And it was very
right.
hot and cold. If you can get an offense to be continuous in moving the ball, continuous and reliable in putting up points, it's going to take some of the pressure off the defense. So yeah, you was already okay. So, but yeah, Roy, like he only has 1 year left, but look, we're not going to be able to tell if he's worth re-signing if JFM is out there. So then we re-sign JFM for another year, 2-3 years. And then it's like, well, did we lose somebody? Did we spend draft capital on right? So this is the year to go out there and find out if he's worth re-signing. So I think we can afford to lose him and put the money where we need it most, which is the offense.
And to kind of piggyback on that, you already signed Zach Allen. You're already paying him premium dollars. I know. I mean, I'm not a financial guy. I'm a journalist. We deal with words, not with numbers. But I can tell you right now, to have that much money concentrated on one position group is a bad. It's not good. You don't want to have that much money tied up in one spot. So. I mean, and again, I like JFM. I like Franklin Myers. I thought he was a very, very savvy move when they acquired him from the Jets. But I think to kind of counterbalance that a little bit, with him being nicked up at the end of the year, his playing time got cut into quite a bit from Malcolm Roach. And Malcolm Roach, for a guy who was known as pretty much a situational run stopper, played 3 downs and looked pretty damn good. 𝐁𝐫𝐶 is more of a first and second down run stopper, but again, I mean, now that he's been playing and kind of over that one season of having to kind of find his legs again, I mean, if there's been a guy that other players have talked about the Broncos, and maybe there's a guy that's out there that's a little bit better than some people are letting on, it was 𝐁𝐁𝐫𝐶. So I'm fully. I mean, I don't want to lose JFM, but I'm also I'm okay with 𝐁𝐁𝐫𝐶 getting more time in the rotation. I mean, they talked about Savion Jones all preseason, and they talked about him that this was a guy that was going to take over as soon as JFM, if and when he left. I think that's. I mean that again. You don't begrudge JFM for getting his money, but that's also, I mean, that's a lot of money. And if they're projecting him at 3 years and 45, I personally think that's a little low. Defensive linemen that can rush the passer and also can factor into the run game are like hen's teeth. And when you find them, you pay them. And I think it's probably going to be more around the Deron Holmes cap number, which is about 20. And I think he's going to get 20 from somebody. And if he's going to get 20 from somebody, I mean, God bless. But I don't know that it should be Denver. Not especially when you have issues on the offense that I think that can be fixed with just a piece here or there. Now, but those pieces may cost a little bit of coin.
But that's a good thing is we have that now. We have that now.
Happy Russell Wilson Day, because that contract is now off the books, officially
gone. Thank God. One other thing the other position, there's a whole nother talk we can have about wide receivers, but I definitely want to get in the talk of tight end, because this one is a little complicated as well. Yeah. I know a lot of people are sitting here saying we need a new tight end. We need a new tight end. But and part of me feels that way too. But one, we're not going to cut Evan Ingram. He has a 2-year deal, right? I really don't think so. And part of the reason why I don't think that is we didn't utilize him, right? We didn't utilize him the way that the reason he picked the Broncos is because they said, here's how we're going to utilize you. And then that didn't come to fruition. Now, there were the chances he had where he drops the ball frequently, right? So that's on him, but it's also on the coaches too for not utilizing him the way that they said he would. So I want him to have another chance to go out there. Now, do we go out there and find another tight end as well to help him out? Yeah, I think so, because like what somebody said in the comments earlier, I do think Troutman is gone as well. So I think we need to go get someone, but I don't think it's to replace Evan Ingram. I think it's to help Evan Ingram out and give him another chance. And if it doesn't work out for a second year in a row, then okay, move on, right? But we have another guy in the wings behind him, and maybe we can draft someone as well. And who knows, maybe in another year or two, Loner will end up being a baller or something, right? Like they didn't cut him, right? They kept on the teams out the whole year.
True.
So maybe they're like, he is still in development. They're still trying to figure that out, given that experience and that reps. But what's your take on the tight end situation right now?
Well, as the CEO, CFO, chaplain, and lead custodial supervisor of the Lucas Cole fan club, why are we forgetting my boy here? Okay, my boy is big. He's strong. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I love Lucas. Lucas, if you're listening, and we know you are, I love you, buddy.
Oh yeah.
But I am of the mind of, again, I think this is going to be a rebuilt tight end room. I know that, and I've said this a few times. A lot of people give me a funny look when I've said this, but Evan Ingram did catch 50 balls this year, and he did have 500 yards receiving. The touchdowns were a little low, but statistically, that's not a terrible season for a tight end, even one that was not utilized how we thought it would be. Again, I think that you're going to see maybe a rehaul in who the blocking tight end is, and maybe seeing Ev out there more as the pure receiving tight end. But that also doesn't mean that there aren't guys out there in the draft. There's a kid from Oregon who's out there that I think would just be absolutely, like, you can plug him in as a day one starter, run those double tights. He's a really big kid. I think he's one of like 6'5", 250. So again, I'm always more of a draft and develop type of guy than having to go spend dollars in free agency. However, I know there has been a name linked out there after he said goodbye to Cleveland, which, who doesn't want to say goodbye to Cleveland? And that would be David Njoku. I honestly think that maybe Njoku's best years are behind him. However, he is a very good all-around tight end. He is a capable receiver. He's big enough to factor into the run game. But I also would say that, Nate Atkins plays a really big part in this offense. And I think that if they bring back Adam Prentice, I think Adam Prentice could maybe factor into that run game too. So I think that Denver has a lot of options on what they could do with that tight end position. But I do think that Adam Troutman has maybe played his last downs for Denver. I like Trout. Trout isn't really good enough to be a number one receiver, but he's also not really good enough to be the blocking tight end either. So he's in this very weird limbo as far as what his role is. And now I think you need to have a guy who is the pure receiving tight end, who could be Evan Ingram. I also maybe think that could be a surprise cut in the offseason. Again, it's only a 2-year deal. He got most of his money up front. So it's not like it'd be a massive cap hit. But again, I think,
would it be like 17 million for a dead cap hit for us? So I think it was like 9 in the first year and then 14 in the second year or something like that. I thought it was actually a pretty low amount in his first year. We could check that. I could very well be wrong. But the weird thing is hearing reports that Sean Payton was pissed that we let him leave the building, that we even let him go talk to the Chargers. Like he wanted him in the building and to stay in the building. And he got mad when they let him walk to even consider another team. So it would just be really weird to see that go from that to, yeah, we'll just cut him because he didn't do that well this year. Well, I get it. I get the frustration, but you worked so hard to get him. And I know I was super excited when we got him, and I'm still excited for what he could bring to this team. Like it's not like we saw the absolute best from him this year. Right. So I could see either way though, man. I feel you. I hear you.
And you're right. He actually, the first year of the deal was the smaller hit as far as cap goes. This next year would actually be the bigger cap hit. I know there's restructures and stuff like that. I wish I had more insight into that. Again, I'm not a numbers guy by any stretch. I can count, and I can use the calculator function on my iPhone. That's about as good as you'll get from me. but yeah, and again, I don't even know that I want to say disappointing. I want to say that he just wasn't utilized in a way that we all assumed he would be. But that could be tied back to maybe the offense being a little bit more, what's the word? Maybe a little bit more basic than we all kind of thought it would, which I think actually is a really good, maybe get to get insights from you, Kev, on Davis Webb now having a bigger say in the offense. Do you think that Evan Ingram can maybe be a benefactor of having a different play caller other than Sean Payton? Because it didn't seem like Sean Payton a whole lot of the time was finding ways to get the ball in Evan Ingram's hands.
Yeah. And he wasn't even like the first look in the vast plays. He wasn't even the second look. So I think, and that could very well be part of why Sean Payton decided. And again, I'm really surprised that the decision was made that quickly.
Right.
For as much as people criticize Sean Payton for being maybe too egotistical, which any out there is egotistical to some degree, right? They think they're the best, and I don't blame them, right? But there's criticisms out there that Sean Payton is too controlling, he's too proud of himself, and he gives himself too much credit. So for him to, in just a matter of days, say, I'm going to give up play calling duties, which has only happened 3 times in his career, that surprises me. So I think there was some humility there, some swallowing of pride, and I think that says a lot about him. I don't think people are talking about that enough. So I think for Davis Webb to take the reins there's going to be a learning curve. I think it's maybe going to look ugly in the first part of the season, but I think they wouldn't give that to Davis Webb if they didn't think it was possible. Plus, it's better than an outsider coming in because Davis understands who's on the team. He understands Bo Nix. He understands these plays, the system. He understands the players. And so there's the ability to make those adjustments and give him that ability to make those changes. So I think that is definitely one of the things that Davis Webb will be looking at this entire offseason, saying, we have this guy with this huge amount of talent. We have got to get him more involved and make him the number one read on these plays and get the ball to him. And then if he drops the ball, literally, like, that's on him at that point, right? You can't say we didn't try to get you the ball. But you can definitely say this last year, at least 50% of the problem was we weren't trying to get him the ball.
Yeah. And I think you bring up a good point, especially with Sean taking a step back. We still haven't heard exactly what Davis Webb's official role will be other than the offensive coordinator. It won't look the same as when Joe Lombardi was the coordinator, which again, I am always making jokes about. I'm like, well, if you're the offensive coordinator and you don't call the offense, what do you do all day? Like what is it exactly that you do? It's like that scene from Office Space where the Bobs are asking what's his face, like, what would you say you do here? Because that was my question. That was always my question. Like Andy Reid, why do you have an offensive coordinator? You don't. He doesn't call plays. Does he bring you coffee? Does he give you pep talks? Do you have somebody to talk to like for long? And I don't know. But anyway, the fact that they moved so quickly in retaining Davis Webb, I think, is a testament to how much he's well thought of. And I don't think that maybe not. I think one of the things that you really have to think about is how close he is with Bo Nix. I mean, these two have already seen that they've developed a really good rapport. So for me, I think that was also paramount in making the offense more comfortable for Bo and maybe making this a very fast offense. Davis Webb has experience at California being a faster offense guy. If Bo made any kind of complaints about the offense all season, is that he felt like the offense was too slow. He couldn't get into the huddle in and out fast. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that you see maybe a different cast of characters leading the Denver offense next season. And if you have Cortland Sutton on one side and you have Evan Ingram on the other side, that's a pretty competent 1-2 punch, and not even including guys who are like on the precipice of being really, really, really good, but aren't quite there yet in Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant and Marvin Mims. So maybe that doesn't preclude them from having to go get a game breaker number one receiver, which I am still of the mind that I think you need a game breaker. I think you need a somebody to really caffeinate this offense. But if you have a healthy Evan Ingram in there, maybe you don't need that.
Sounds good. It's going to be interesting to see how they do this, man. And I hate surprise cuts. I get so excited about free agency for who we're going to acquire, but I always downplay. And I think it's because I don't want to think about the pain that's going to come with a surprise cut, but
I hear
there very well could be one of those, and it very well could be Evan Ingram. And when it's a player that I was so excited for because of the potential he bring to the team, and take this offense to the next level, it's gonna hurt if he's the one that goes. Now, I couldn't blame him, right? Look, dropped passes across the board this year for the second year in a row.
From everybody though,
and Evan Ingram was part of it too. Like he wasn't immune to that issue, so it's going to be interesting, man. We're going to get some closing comments here in a second, guys. There's more off-season talk coming your way in the upcoming weeks throughout the whole off-season. We will be live every Tuesday night. But before we close out the show here, first, guys, remember next Tuesday, February 17th, 7 p.m. Mountain Time is our fan appreciation episode. Tons of Broncos prizes, and the grand prize is a Denver Broncos jersey of your choice. Style, player, number. If you want to customize, that's fine too. You get to tell us what to order for you. So you are going to want to be there next week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, as we say thank you to all of you fans for supporting us, not through just this year, but through 10 years of Broncos coverage and cheering us on to another 10 years of Broncos coverage, because I cannot wait to create a 20th anniversary logo to put up there in the corner. So tons of stuff coming your way. You're not going to want to miss these Tuesday shows, guys. Just if anything, we get to come together and hang out with each other. I love seeing you guys in the comments and hearing like how you're doing. I love hearing how you're thinking and what's going on within Broncos country, because I have my thoughts. I have my opinions, but there's so much clickbait out there that it actually sucks to just sit there and try to parse through all that crap. So to sit here with you guys is just an absolute pleasure. I hope you actually realize that we mean that when we say it. We're here because of you guys, and that's what the fan appreciation episode is truly all about, is us recognizing that we would be nowhere without all of you guys. We would just be a few guys talking to ourselves, which I talk to myself all the time, and it gets boring really quickly. So
he also answers for himself too. But sometimes you're in the same room with him when he does it, and you're not sure if he's talking to you or he's talking to himself.
You heard me You heard me? You were here for the Super Bowl, and I didn't think you heard me.
It was a little awkward, but we rolled through it, and it was fine. It was fine. I have my ticks too. It's
James,
okay.
James, these kind of comments like these make it all worthwhile. And this is why we did it for 10 years. This is why we're going to keep going. You know, and not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but I mean, I'm sure we've all seen them, these podcasts that pop up, you know, during the Broncos' bad years. They pop up, they last for maybe half a season, they last for maybe one season, and then they're gone, right? And we recognize that this is all about you all. And so, you know, come here next week, celebrate it with us, hang out with us, have a good time with us as we say thank you. And if I could give every single one of you guys a prize, I would, but I can't afford that. So we have to limit it to one prize from each of our hosts here. So there's going to be like 8 or 9 prizes in the grand prize as well. So yeah, lots of different opportunities to win. And you're not going to want to miss it. But seriously, thank you so much. And to Gary's earlier question, no, I did not tattoo Bo Leave, get a tattoo of Bo Leave, because the Broncos didn't win the Super Bowl. So there's no reason. So unlike the guy who got, at least there's one person out there that got Patriots Super Bowl 60 champions tattooed on them before the game.
I have a theory about that.
What is that?
I don't think those are real. I think
Really?
like how every year that we see like people punching out their TV screens and how it's like,
well, that's yeah.
I think those are staged.
I think there are diehard fans that legitimately believe in their team so much that they are willing to get a tattoo of so that they can say, I got this before the Super Bowl. That's how much there's at least one fan in the United States every year that I guarantee you does that.
Well, I guess if you put it that way.
I'm just saying. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because that's just so stupid.
Maybe because I think about it and I'm like, man, I'm like that. A, that's a lot of money. B, I'm kind of a weenie. I mean, and it's just
Same.
it's like no, bro. I can find 101 different better uses for my hard-earned paycheck other than getting a tattoo that you can't get off of the Super Bowl win that we didn't have. And it's really hard getting one of those things. I hear they only give out one of those a year.
Only one a year. I could believe it. Believe it. Let's do some closing thoughts here, Adam, as we close out the show here. And again, thank you for everybody watching us tonight. But Adam, over to you as we close out this week of free agency chat.
Since we're still talking free agency, I have been advocating and ringing the bell as hard as I can for the fact that Denver needs a true number one. We all love Courtland Sutton. We love Courtland Sutton, except when he doesn't catch the ball. And he did that quite a bit this postseason. And while we all love Court is more of a premier number 2 than he is a bona fide viable number 1. So if there's a guy that I think could be a very surprise cut, and I know that we don't like talking about it, I think Courtland Sutton is it could be one of those guys. And just before I get labeled a hater, just something to consider. Courtland Sutton is 30 years old, and typically you see your offensive production for any skill player start to trend down once they hit 30. 2, he would be the older guy on the offense already in a very young offense. Can you justify the potential and the growth from a guy like Pat Bryant and a guy like Troy Franklin, who do project more as number 2 receivers, than for a guy that you're going to be paying a buttload of money to for the next couple of years? And 3, I still think that you're going to have to save money somewhere, because if you're going to make a big splash to get a guy who is going to be a premier number 1 receiver or even a premier running back, if that's where they choose to go, they may need to find some dollars and cents somewhere in the couch. And I think that could be Courtland Sutton. I'm not saying one way or the other. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball saying one way or the other. I just think that's a possibility. And I'm saying if it happens, I will toot my own horn relentlessly, because if you don't promote yourself, who will? But I will also be a little bummed out.
Yeah. I'll just say if they cut Courtland Sutton, I will riot at Mile High Stadium. I will show up with pitchforks and torches, and there'll be an invite to everybody else out there. You can join me. But look, you're right. Roy, right. Yeah, I think he caught 11%, or he missed 11% of his catchable balls. And look, even Alex Singleton lost a ball this year. Sorry, that was a bad taste. I had to say it anyway. It was in my brain. And
thank you, Kev.
Anyway, this is why you guys watch the show, right? Anyway, look, I love Courtland, and it's I put it in the group chat a couple days ago where I said it's weird to see the occasional Drew Lock highlight pop up on your feed. And then you see Courtland Sutton out on the field as well. And you're like, holy crap. That's how long he's been with the team. And so appreciate everything he's done. But yeah, like, look, at the same time, this team has to move forward. This team has to find a way to get over that hump offensively. And if the powers that be decide that it involves moving on from Courtland, then I'm going to cry myself to sleep profusely. But if it means we get a Super Bowl, then okay, right? For a guy who's been with the team for as long as he has and stuck with the team through all the bad years, you want him to be a part of it, So that's interesting, man. That's an interesting thought, and definitely a reason to, one, keep coming back for the podcast to get more updates. But also, two, just free agency is a month away, guys. It is a month away. It is going to be here before you know it. Michael says, I'm going to tell Singleton's sister on you. Please don't. I don't need anyone beating me up.
He's very large. Don't tell him, please.
I only said that because Alex Singleton obviously took it in such great stride. And, he's fine. If he wasn't fine, there'd be no joking about it. But I'm glad he's fine. I appreciate Alex Singleton. I love the guy. I'm sure he might, being an avid listener of the podcast himself, I'm sure I might get some hate mail from his lawyer here soon. So we'll see. But
I see a cease and desist letter in Kev Dan's future.
Oh man. But seriously, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And this is why we keep doing this, even during the off season. Great stuff. Adam, sir, thank you very much for your insights. Always good hearing from you. We'll have you back here in a few weeks, I'm sure. As the show, next week, especially for the fan appreciation episode. But lots of off-season shows to go through, but they will fly by. And we'll be talking about week 1 of the 2026 season before you know it. Adam, buddy, again, I got nothing left to say other than say thank you to all the fans and end this show, as we always do, on a very strong Go Broncos!
Let's go Broncos!
Take care, everyone. We will see you later.
Do what I like. Yeah, I do what I like. Yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, sip is right. And I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here